We are just about a month out from the 2023 NFL Draft, and we know the Titans have work to do up until then to prepare for who they are going to take with that 11th overall pick, as well as in the second round, third, fourth. They got a lot of work to do. We know that, and we're going to talk about some prospects that they went and looked at this past week at Ohio State's Pro Day. There were some promising performances from some guys that the Titans have said to be interested in. But before we jump into that, make sure you go down and hit that sub button. Why? Because we are in a battle with Texans today. They have acquired 105 subs just this week. We've only acquired 101, okay? There's already going to be enough competing when the season starts between the Texans and the Titans and the whole AFC South. I don't want to lose here, at least not here. Let's up the subs and beat the Texans channel by a mile. I don't even want to leave it up to chance. Go hit the sub button. Let's pump these numbers up. Okay, let's get into it. Ohio State's Pro Day got a lot of attention this past week. Even before it happened, teams sent so many of their execs and their personnel. And that just goes to show you the kind of talent that is on that team that is coming out of Ohio State and will be drafted in the draft at the end of April. The Panthers sent 14 of their coaches' staff to the Pro Day. And I want you to know that the normal amount of staff that is sent is between 2 to 3 guys. All of these teams sending 14, the Giants 9, Seahawks 8, Saints 8, Titans sent 7. Mike Vrabel ran Carthon, Tim Kelly. They were all in attendance. You're sending your big guys out there to kind of make a statement as in, oh yeah, we're interested, and oh yeah, we need to do some homework and let's see what's really here. All of these teams sending so many people should just tell you exactly what kind of products are in Ohio State's draft class this year. Before we start talking about some of those guys they looked at Pro Day, who should the Titans draft in the first round? Before you know anything, go off the top of your head. First thing that comes to mind, who is a guy you want to see come off the board with that 11th overall pick by the Titans? Head down to the comment section and let me know. The first guy I want to talk about who stood out at Pro Day is a name that we have thrown around so many times before, Paris Johnson. Now, mind you, he was kind of at the top of all the mock drafts, and this was the no-brainer. They were going after Paris Johnson, maybe Peter Skoronski if Johnson was off the board at 11. But the Titans have addressed some of the offensive line needs in free agency, making this need for Paris Johnson or for some more help on the O-line a little bit less of a priority. I'm not saying it's not a priority because it is, but you may be able to address it elsewhere or later in the draft. However, Paris Johnson had a great Pro Day and impressed a lot of people. Todd McShay said this on Johnson. Johnson is such an easy mover and allowed only 3 sacks over 26 starts since the start of 2021. He's versatile, which we know the Titans absolutely need. Moving over from right guard to left tackle this season and not missing a beat. Johnson would help keep Ryan Tannehill or whoever ends up being the quarterback over the next few seasons upright while also opening up lanes for Derrick Henry and the run game. And Johnson could perhaps eventually line up opposite Nicholas Petit-Frere, his former teammate at Ohio State, whom he replaced at left tackle this past season. Todd McShay brings up a point. This guy is versatile and he can adapt without missing a beat, which is very important for whoever the Titans decide to put up on that front line with Andre Dillard and Daniel Brunskill and whoever else they've still got. His 2022 PFF grades, again, PFF isn't everything, but it does say something. Overall grade of 83.1, a pass blocking grade of 77.9, run blocking 80.9, and just allowed 2 sacks. Again, this is kind of the safer option here, but after free agency, things have changed, which leads me to the next guy who stood out at OSU Pro Day. That would be Jaxon Smith-Njigba. His name has been floating around quite often within the receiver talks, a lot of teams kind of fixing their receiver needs in free agency. Not the Titans, though. Don't worry. They're going to have to draft somebody, it looks like. DJ Chark just went off the board to the Panthers. So, again, slim pickings here, which makes Jaxon Smith-Njigba all the more interesting and enticing for the Titans. There are a few concerns. Look, this kid is an athlete. I will get to exactly why he may be a perfect fit for the Titans, but there are concerns. He had a hamstring injury in 2022 that kept him out of most of the season, and it wouldn't go away. It was one of those lingering hamstring injuries, and here's the kicker. Mike Vrabel has come out and said plenty of times over and over, he is not a fan of the soft tissue injuries that just linger and don't go away. Why? Not because they're injuries, but because he feels that these soft tissue injuries are injuries because the player isn't taking care of themselves properly. This could be a red flag for Mike Vrabel, who looks at these kinds of things, specifically soft tissue injuries. If his hamstrings hurt and it's lingering, that's going to be kind of a red flag for the Titans. He's also a slot receiver, which you've got Kyle Phillips. So do you really bring in another slot receiver? Kyle Phillips, again, very injured in 2022, didn't get a lot of opportunity to play because of those injuries. He will be able to, hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't see another injury, but he'll play more this season and hopefully hold down that position. I will say, I think this guy, and we're going to look at his 2021 stats as I say this, I think this guy could be put in a receiver room and do some damage regardless of whether he plays on the boundary or not. 1,600 yards. That is more than Chris Olave had while he was at Ohio State. 1,600 yards, 16.9 average of each catch, 9 touchdowns, and a long of 75 yards. Those are phenomenal stats. I don't think it would have been any different had he been healthy in 2022. Again, that's 2021, his standout season at OSU. He's very capable, clearly, and I don't think it was a one-and-done season. I think that is kind of an average of his production, what it could be if that hamstring injury gets right. Mike Vrabel did comment on his interest in JSN. Of course, I think we're looking for guys who can get open and catch the ball and that can do things after and create separation. Absolutely. We knew that's what Mike Vrabel was looking for. Jaxon Smith-Njigba kind of fits the bill. And he did say he was a little bit impressed about him at Pro Day. Well, I think the ability to work inside, and he's got some ability to work outside, so it's early on in the evaluation process, which is what he told the reporter. But hearing that makes me think that he sees what we see in this kid. He's able to play the slot, yeah, but he can play on the outside, and he'll kind of come into this receiver room if they draft him and be very helpful. He'll fit well with Treylon Burks and hopefully elevate this receiver room that is quite literally possibly the worst in the league right now. Should the Titans draft Jaxon Smith-Njigba? Let me know in the comment section. Type Y for hell yes, type N for absolutely not. Before we continue with our last standout from OSU Pro Day, let me tell you about today's sponsor in Fanatics. They have got some fire Tennessee Titans hats. And look, I hear a lot of comments in the comment section. Abby, we like your hair down. Abby, we like your hair down. Let me tell you something. It takes a lot for me to be able to wash my hair and style it early in the morning every day. So sometimes I just throw a ball cap on. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Boys, you guys have bad hair days too. I know it. I've seen it. Throw a baseball cap on. Why not throw a Tennessee Titans baseball cap on? They're fire. And to be completely honest, a guy in a baseball cap, chef's kiss. Beautiful. Head to chatsports.com/Titans hats and get you some gear. Let's talk about the last guy that was a standout, CJ Stroud. Now, hold on for a second before you click out the video because I'm talking nonsense. Hear me out. No, do I think the Titans went to Ohio State Pro Day looking at CJ Stroud to grab him? No, they were there. They saw him. It is no question that they are interested in him. Can they swing it? I don't think. But it has been said that CJ Stroud is QB1 if it comes down to it. If they're able to get him, he would be QB1. He's the top guy on their board. Again, I don't think he falls to 11. I think he goes within the first couple picks. But it is possible. I don't want to say that it can happen or it will happen because it's very, very, very unlikely. Like I would say like a 5% chance that this happens. But it is possible. Say the Titans decide to trade up to grab him. And they've been a little quiet, okay? They're gearing up for something. We don't know what it is, but they're gearing up for something. Don't sleep on Carthon, because remember, he was a part of the front office that traded up for the 3rd overall to grab Trey Lance. Don't sleep on him. If he wants to make it happen, I believe he'll make it happen. I'm not saying put all your eggs in one basket here and CJ Stroud is the next quarterback of the Tennessee Titans, but it's not impossible. He fits exactly what Carthon is looking for in a quarterback, and he's impressed. He's impressed every time that the Titans have been able to see him. I'm just throwing it out there. I had to throw his name out there so you guys just know he's still in the mix. Barely, but he's still there. If you made it to the end of the video, you're a real one. Head down to the comment section, type real one, and as always, we appreciate you guys watching. We'll be back with all kinds of draft analysis, maybe some more free agent signings if the Titans decide to do anything. They're running out of time here, but make sure to subscribe. We will see y'all soon.